What does this say here? New home potentially improve. Let's do this. Hey, all right, my brother's coming down in a second, so this is my first live Q&A, so let's just see how this goes. Do you guys have any technical questions? I'm waiting on my brother to come down with coffee. Hey, what's up? This is pretty cool. All right, do you guys have any jiu-jitsu related questions? Okay, favorite side control escape technique method. Been trying to use the hip shovel from the underhook, getting smashed. What's going on? Hey, coach. Oh man, this is blowing up quick.
Sweet.
How many do we have in here now? We have 30 people live right now. Hey, coach. Soner. What's up, dude? All right. Make a trip down to, oh man, I would like to, but I'm in Canada. And then I'm heading back to Sweden soon. Otherwise, I would make a trip down to San Diego. Or I guess it's Costa Mesa, sorry. Love the crossguard seminar. What's up, Robert? Okay. Best way to escape Kimura trip. Oh, man, this is awesome. Favorite way to prevent over underpass. Oh, my God. I can't help but notice you like the BJJ Stories post. The whole drama controversy. Oh, man. Whoa, this is blowing up fast. All right, let's start with side control escape, and then we'll just go from there. This is my brother, by the way. This is Joe, the magician. We can have him do some magic, too.
Yes.
He is also a white belt world champion from back in, when, 2001?
2007.
2007, back in the day. So he's a purple belt. What gym do you train at?
Alberto Crane.
Alberto Crane's in Burbank?
Yeah, in Burbank.
In Burbank. Okay, cool. All right, so let's look at some side control stuff just to start. Let me cut the coffee away so we don't end the live feed immediately with coffee, or sorry, water. So we're going to do some side control escape for a second. Okay. One guy was asking about just like my preferred way to get out of side control. So there's different layers of side control, right? Like the first thing to understand is like if someone gets super deep in position, like we'll have to get better at this, right? If I let the guy get really deep inside this elbow knee space and like get your knee really, really tight, yeah. And this arm is caught out, it's going to be a lot harder, right? So go back. So one of the big things is like initial preemption is locking in early, right? So one of the big mistakes I see people make is like maybe they're playing collar sleeve or double sleeve. The guy starts passing and they hold this too long. So as the guy gets in here, they allow the guy to get in deep, right? So go back up a little bit, maybe it'll be easier. So when the big thing is like as someone's coming in, if you're fast on this kind of blocking in motion, you get a much better position. So let's just assume the guy comes in a bit like this, right? I like the frame. He's kind of locked in. Go ahead and posture up real quick. I kind of have this like frame of my forearm. I want to focus on kind of scooping him out of this space. A lot of people just focus on blocking here. Sorry, we got to get the angle right. Yeah, that's good, I think. That's a good one. So if I'm here, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but if I'm here, when I shrink, he can follow with his knee, right? Right, so go back. Yeah, so what I want is this elbow trying to block the far side, like that there, so not coming tight. That makes it easier so that when I shrimp, I can lift this leg up like this and try to work this knee in. Once you get this knee in, it's a lot easier to use my knee to frame to work my way out, right? But of course, depending on the way the guy's holding side control, it can massively affect how you have to escape. But yeah, basically my favorite way is like the frame method. The underhook method for sure can work, but I feel like the heavier and heavier opponent you have, a strong frame is like the safest bet. All right, let's take another question. Let's see here. Oh man, there's so many questions now. I gotta sort of senior Sligo advert here. Can you guys see the messages that other people are writing? I don't know how to, I'm new to doing this, so. Yes, okay, thank you guys. How many times a week do you drill and roll? Do you hard roll every time? Okay, cool. So I like to do, it depends like on your recovery rate, but for me, what I find works best is probably like 2 or 3 times a week, really hard training. And the majority of my training, I like to be more skill work, right? So for example, I'm at my parents' house visiting, like I'm between seminars, and like I'll get a lot of skill work. Hey, what's up, Scott? I'll get a lot of skill work done, like where like, let's say like me and my brother came downstairs to work on stuff, where I might do a training where me and him will just kind of work on the cross guard position for an hour. So I like to have a lot of training where it's more focused on developing the skill rather than being intense. So of course you need to have like hard, intense sparring where you're like, pushing the intensity to get ready for a tournament. But for like skill development, I find more of a chill atmosphere. Like I have coffee here and like we just ate food upstairs. We take breaks. And it's more like I'm playing a video game, right? It's just like fun, like hanging out, working on stuff. And I like to have a lot of that, right? So realistically, I would say my ideal training schedule would be maybe like 5 times a week. I do like strength before coming in. So I have maybe 30 to 40 minutes of like strength training. I prefer like 5 days a week, a little bit lower intensity level. I like the 3 to 5 rep range. So I do my strength like 5 times a week, come in and do about 2 hours of skill work, maybe 3 of those sessions. And by skill work, I mean more like specific sparring and stuff. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I'll do harder rounds within that. And then I close out with like mobility and flexibility for 30 minutes. I do that 5 days a week. And then training at night, I do more optionally, but again, that's like lower intensity level. So that's roughly like what I like for training. Any seminars in Germany planned? Not currently. I was just in Belgium recently, but maybe early next year sometime. I'm pretty booked for the rest of the year. Defending over underpass. Okay, we can take that in a second. How do lapel sleeve strangles factor into your guard passing retention? By lapel sleeve strangles, do you mean like loop chokes? Like you said, how into your passing / retention? Which guards do you recommend for submissions? Posture is hard and turns a hard corner on your spider side. How do you like to handle? Okay, if opponent postures hard and turns a hard corner on your spider side, how do you like to handle the situation? All right, let's look at that real quick. So go up.
I didn't listen to what you said, so
yeah, I'll get you. Okay, I'll get better at this, guys. This is my first time doing this, so I'm trying to figure out what's the best angle for doing this. We have to keep adjusting. So I think what you're asking, let me tilt this up a little bit more here. Or we can always back up too, I guess. All right, let's back up a little bit. Okay, so I think what you're asking is when you're playing spider, let's turn this way so that you can see better. Yeah, when you're here, you're saying like, go ahead and throw me this way with this, like, yeah, like this. Is that roughly what you're asking, where the guy's throwing around your spider guard? Brendan May, I think. So you're asking like how the guy throws around the spider, correct? Is the feed still going? Yeah. Yes, but crowding space too. Like, so is he like deadlifting up as well? No problem, Jeb Stewart. Happy to help. Okay, so let me see if I can simulate this. So like maybe deadlifting kind of posture. So it's like deadlift, yeah, like that kind of a thing. Where let's back up so you can see. Okay, so like deadlift really, really hard. Like there, no, even more. Like yeah, like this kind of a thing, and he tries to shuck around. Is that what you're talking about, Brendan May? Okay, cool. Yeah, so the big thing when you're playing, first off is understand when you're playing Lasso, you can never have this hook just floating outside if they're standing, right? Like turn this way just a tap, right? I can't have this left leg just floating out here because he can always throw, be it through posture or just kind of even slight posture. So if I'm here, I have a lasso like this. If I'm standing and I unlasso, this has to go to a spider hook fast, right? Because if you ever stay with this out here, the guy's going to throw you. If you're massively flexible, you might be able to recompose, but it's a tough spot. So the general rule is like if I'm here and I have a lasso spider and the guy deadlifts, is I let my upper back come up off the mat like this. Here, he's not very fast paced. You see it lightens all the load on my hands here when my upper back comes up. Go back down. What people often do is they stay down like this, a posture. So then it's really hard on your fingers, right? Because you're trying to hold him down with your hands. What you want here, okay, is as he deadlift again, I posture up like this, I loop my foot inside. Now I can control and work underneath. From here, it's much easier to work. I can try to flip him overhead there. I can switch to this position here, which is really powerful. I can sweep him straight back here. There's a lot of variations there. But I would say generally that deadlift issue is a major problem for people. So just try to let your upper back come up. Did that help, Brendan? Was that kind of address some of the issues you were having? Which one? Let's see. I asked a question, ACR Condor. What's the best way? Okay, ACR Condor. Let me scroll up and see what it was.
There was also somebody about double unders earlier.
Okay, so we have over-under coming up. In all seriousness, if you're an open guard player and you have a problem being attached to one submission, example omoplata, and you attack only the submission, could it be a problem to my jiu-jitsu? Absolutely, Condor. I would say people have this problem, and I've done it like all throughout my career as well, where what I would do is like you get attached to one thing, so you want to do it. But there's something fundamentally that's against jiu-jitsu with that, because when you have one thing you want to do, like let's say I'm rolling with someone like, I'm like, I want to do spider guard. I want to do spider guard. I want to do spider guard, right? And then I go with the guy and he approaches me with his hands back, right? Then it becomes very hard to get to spider guard. It's the same thing. If I'm in closed guard, for example, just go to closed guard, right? And like you said, you really like maybe omoplatas, right? So then he's got one hand here like this, and just rest your forearm here like this, right? And he's like this, and like I don't know, this guy's just here, and like this arm bar is clearly exposed. Going for the arm bar is an easier option, right? If I want to go for like an omoplata, right, and his arm's over here, it's very easy. Let's do it on the other side. Right here, the omoplata is very easy, but like let's say he just for whatever reason dug his arm here and starts driving this way, right? It makes more sense to try to switch up for the triangle. So yeah, absolutely. The idea of you picking what you want to do will often make you take the path of most resistance. That's something I always tell my students. Try to think about positions first. So rather than thinking about like a submission you want to do or a submission you want to work, I always give the analogy. What people do is like they'll take an arm bar, right? And they'll like drill it like 1,000 times. Like I want to do an arm bar. I want to do an arm bar. And then they go into sparring and maybe even the sparring closed guard, and they're like arm bar, arm bar, arm bar. And then the guy puts his hands like on the floor, right? And it's really hard to do a classic arm bar then. Maybe you have to do a triangle or like a kimura, but the regular arm bar is going to be hard in that situation, right? So by forcing it, you're going for something that's not there. You need to work the position and take what's available, and then with an emphasis on an arm bar. So you're very aware if he does expose it, you go for it. But if it's not there, it's not there. So try to, rather than thinking about submissions you want, think about positions you want to work on. Like I want to work on my closed guard, or I want to work on my spider guard, and then learn how that position works as a whole and what you can kind of connect from there. Okay. Let's see here. You should specialize in a couple guards or learn them all, depth versus breadth. Okay, great questions. Very similar to what I was just talking about. You definitely want to. Are you like taking a post-it? Sorry. No, it's okay. You definitely want to have depth in things, but I do think most people err on the side of. Most people err both ways on the depth versus breadth. Okay, you need both. So what I mean by that is like some people will take a new position, like they want to get good at spider guard. They'll play it for maybe, like a week or something, and it's hard. Like this is hard. This isn't for me, and then they switch, and then they try a new position. That's not easy. Then they switch, right? What you should do is take a position, play at it until you get pretty competent at it, and then pick a new one and move on. And then once you learn to get reasonably competent at that, then pick a new one and move on, because you really do need both. You do need positions that you can use even versus a world-class opponent. But at the same time, if you only go super deep on one thing, it becomes difficult, because what happens then is like maybe, you fight a guy and he knows your strength, like De La Hiva. Like say your only game is De La Hiva or single legs. And then I've talked about this before in my videos, but then the guy keeps his hip back, right? And then it's hard to get to the legs, right? Like, so for example, go down. Right. Like I'm here, right? So then if he made his whole game around like grabbing a single leg grip or grabbing my ankle grip, right? Because he doesn't like sleeve controls or lapel controls, then I can come at him like this and start trying to single leg me. You see, I can be here like this, moving around and just keeping my hips away and being very difficult that way, right? So by having like a wide game, you make it easier, right? But don't like block yourself into only playing one game, if that makes sense, right? Okay. Okay, how do you situational spar guard passing, especially when the guy switches guard in between passes? Well, 1 second. Yeah. So it was over. Yeah.
Oh, I was just trying to post
Okay.
it real life.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So the question was just how do you specific spar guard passes, right? So the big thing with the guard passes is that each guard is different, right? So it's a bit tricky. So I can't like if I just like I would trying to pass before there's grips is a separate problem from trying to pass when like the guy has a specific position. So I would isolate, for example, each guard separately. So like maybe starting the lasso. Yeah, like this, right? So like if we're here, I would start from here and make a very clear set of rules. Like for example, starting in the lasso, like, you know, okay, I get out if I like either loop out of the position and like, you know, for example, break it and get out, or if I pass, okay? And then we would just keep restarting from this position. That would be one way to go about it. If you wanted to work on like, say, passing before there's grips, one format of training I would do would be I would start back, let's do this one just a little bit, would be I just start back here and then he's gonna try to initiate some guard control on me. So like, let's say you want to like get like a lasso or a de la hiva. So I start trying to pass and you can just like establish a lasso, right? I try to pass and then somehow he gets a lasso, we stop here, right? And then we go again, right? And then we're here like this, now he's trying to entangle me somehow. And then I initiate like a knee cut or something, right? And then we go again, right? Or maybe we go again and then I establish double underhooks, right? And in that sense, what I'm doing is I'm like, you can post this cool. And what I'm doing at that point is like, I'm hyper training the skill set of getting to my pass position, but that's different than say hyper training the skill set of, okay, I started in a lasso, how do I get out of the lasso, right? So you need to get good at both getting out of common tie-up positions because you can't expect that you're always going to be able to get to the position you want, right? But then at the same time, you also do want to try to fight and avoid letting them get there, right? So you need to separate those, if that makes sense. Okay, what guards do you think open guard players should be strictly focusing on when I place? I feel like that question kind of, oh, sorry. What guards do you think open guard players should be strictly focusing on? It depends. There's a lot of different guards you can play. I would say that everyone should definitely focus on some initial entanglement guards. I know I've done videos about that before, which is basically like, if you have guards, like say close guard, if I ask someone, what's your favorite guard? And they're like, close guard, that's my favorite guard. If you do that, the problem is that, you know, it may be difficult to get to close guard. Here, let me use one second. Cool. Okay, so if you make your normal guard close guard, that's great. It's a powerful guard, right? But it's more akin to saying, what's your guard? And you're like triangle chokes, right? You have to get there. So close guard is a great guard, but it's more secondary. You have to earn it. As I would say the same thing about like X guard. It's a great guard, but you need a pre-position like sit on butterfly or spider guard or de la hiva that you use to get to it. So what I would say everyone needs guard wise is some guard that they can, a couple guards that they have an answer for all the most common ways someone could approach you, right? So go ahead and stand up. So like what I'm thinking is like, okay, the match starts. Let's scoot this way a little bit, right? So the match starts, right? And then like having good sleeve controls helps a lot because I can be here and like as he's grabbing, if I can just get this sleeve, I can fall back and create an initial entanglement. He grabs, right? And now I'm starting to build here. You know, I can start attacking, whatever. I can start building options from here, right? But maybe I go at him and he keeps his sleeves away, right? So now it's hard. If my only game is built off of sleeves, I'm going to have a hard time here. So secondary options, if he has that away and leave with your right leg, like this could be, I could come in for a single leg grip if you like that game, right? If you don't like that game, then I could be here and I can start going for a collar grip, right? And then now I could turn this into collar drags. I could go into ankle picks with it. You could even jump straight to X guard from here like this or single leg X, right? I like to use that one as well. So what I would say is like good initial grip guards that people should have. You don't have to have them all, but definitely at least one of them is like a collar guard game, like sitting up with a collar. A good setup butterfly guard game is optional. I would say good sleeve controls, like a lasso game, spider game, collar sleeve game. And then good lower body control game, which would be like a single leg grip or like de la hiva. I would say de la hiva everyone needs, just basically being here like this and grabbing this ankle. I should do it with the other leg. Yeah, like being here like this and grabbing the ankle because it's so common that you'll be on your back defending a guard pass and start coming in, whatever. And I'm defending like this. The first access point, I'm going to do the other leg. the first access point will be the initial ankle. Because once I get this pant or ankle grip, then I can start building off of that, right? So I think an ankle when you're on your back, and a sleeve is really good too, because if they're here like this, it's very easy to get this grip and start lassoing. And then modern day, I also think another really useful one, go ahead and stand up. Another really useful one is like low lapel grips, for example, right? So because like you don't have to have this as optional. I don't really do it much, but objectively I can see the utility in it, which is that if I'm here and I'm looking for his sleeves and he keeps hiding his sleeves a bunch, right? And then I go for the collar and he keeps breaking that grip, right? So like as soon as I touch the collar, he breaks, right? I could go for the like a single leg grip to initiate an entanglement, but grabbing like a low gi skirt is really hard to break, right? So then I could use this to turn it into like some form of like either swid guard or be stuff the other leg back. Yeah, here I could go here and start turning into like worm guard stuff. But you could also just use this to entangle, and then when he starts grabbing my legs to try to deal with stuff, I could break this lasso, and now I'm building up to that kind of game. Now I'm going cross guard here, and you can work from there. Okay, so kind of a long-winded answer, but okay. What is BJJ? Ooh, that's a big one. Let's see, is a good example. This is my first time doing a live feed, guys, so this is pretty cool, but it's like so many questions, so I'm sorry I probably won't be able to get to everyone. So I'm just like literally pot shotting random questions that I see. Let's see here. A loop and lesser extent baseball to factor into guard passing. Taekwondo favorite daily the X combo. Greetings from UK, not a big user, but I'm good Taekwondo or easy similarities. Similar to Brandon's, I'm learning only no gi. Do you have any tips on what I could do? I'm going to transition in gi BJJ. Yeah, Marco Darten. Sorry, I can't pronounce things properly. So someone no gi transitioning into the gi like effectively, I would say one of the biggest differences is that there's a lot more entanglements in the gi, right? Like in no gi, the main positions that you can entangle someone are more like X guard variations, like leg lock variation situations, like the ashigarami and like some of the heel hook positions. Like those are like really good ways to entangle people. Like De La Hiva is not as effective. I mean, you can slow someone down no gi, like a reverse De La Hiva grip or like a single leg grip, but there's not many positions that you can like stifle someone in no-gi. In gi, there's so many ways to lock someone up. So most no-gi guys kind of have this instinct when they get into the gi of just kind of like, you never want to get locked up, right? So you're always trying to kind of break the grip and get away and never let the guy grab you and then pass him before he can get a grip. And if you weren't training gi consistently and you wanted to have success because you didn't know what to do, that conceptually makes sense. But if you want to start really improving at the gi over a longer period of time, I would recommend that you really focus on trying to become comfortable in the grips rather than just trying to never let the guy get a lasso. Start letting the guy get a lasso and just learn what to do with it so you become comfortable there. As you get comfortable there, then you take on the De La Hiva, reverse De La Hiva, and you get comfortable in the different grips. And then you learn that you can sometimes pass through the grips, although you still have the option to break grip and try to pass from the outside. You can kind of do both. Also, fighters are commonly being referred to as players. Is this normal? Not exactly sure what you mean by that. Let's see here. I noticed at Worlds lots of collar belts playing open guard with a prant grip and opposite collar or opposite sleeve. Not necessarily playing De La Hiva. Is this something you see gaining popularity? Jose Alvarez. Okay, so your question here was, let me read it again. I noticed at Worlds lots of collar belts playing open guard with a pant grip and opposite collar or opposite sleeve grip, not necessarily playing De La Hiva. Is this something you see gaining popularity? By opposite collar and opposite sleeve, I'm talking to Jose Alvarez here. Okay, so to me, opposite sleeve would be this one. Is this the one you're referring to, or are you referring to this one? Because like some people use different semantics. And when you say opposite collar, are you saying let's call this, I call this cross collar and I call this same side collar. I call this cross sleeve and I call this same side sleeve. So Jose Alvarez, which one are you referring to? Left hand on the pants and same side sleeve, same side collar, or collar sleeve combination you're referring to? Left pant grip, right sleeve. All same side. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, great question. So for me, I don't know how much I saw this. I think this one's really good too. The same side collar grip. I see most people when they do the collar grip variations, they do the cross collar. At Worlds, I didn't notice so much that a ton of people were doing this, but it does function a bit similarly. I probably need to go more in depth on that. I've always found it to be somewhat similar. The sleeve grip is drastically different. There's a big difference between this same side sleeve and this cross sleeve. This one here has always been a standard for me because a lot of guys build their game off the collar. Like, yeah, I'll sit here. This is a great game, but for me, it's secondary. I always start with the sleeve because, like, if I want to rest or control for a moment, let's turn this a little bit and go that way. Just turn it down. If I want to like rest or control for a moment, then getting the sleeve is an easier way to do it. The collar is great for being offensive, but like, let's say you're like dead tired in the middle of the match and you're in a tournament, you just need to catch your breath and regroup your thoughts before you do your next attack. If I grab the collar, he's free to push my leg down, right? And that's okay because I can attack while I do this. Like if I'm here, I can do this, he starts pushing my leg down, right? And I start moving, trying to bolo. I can go here and bump and start lifting to go to X or turn it back to a bolo, depending on his defense, right? So there's a lot of things you can do with a collar, but it's more action-packed. Like you have to immediately make decisions when you do that. Whereas the sleeve, if I'm here and I'm holding this pant grip and he grabs here, like, and I break this, I can kind of stifle him here. He can't push this down with his hand, and it's hard to push it down with the other hand too. And if he tries, he often exposes like the deep daily heat X and stuff like that, right? So I like the sleeve a lot as my initial threat. So if I'm here and the guy's trying to control this, I'm often like breaking the sleeve and being difficult with this. If he starts to hide this hand a lot because he doesn't want me to get that sleeve, that's when I'll start coming up and threatening the collar. And my leg is free because he's hiding it, right? If I go to the collar first and he's already controlling this leg, I'm a little bit behind getting to this. So now as I'm grabbing his collar, he's pushing this down and I'm a little bit behind. So I like to threaten the sleeve first. So I'm looking for this as he's grabbing. And if I get it, boom, I break. Now I can go to sit-up guard. I could go to daily heat X. I could go to low guard and start doing stuff like that. If he hides it, then I'm going collar and threatening there, right? As far as the pants go, I like the pants a lot too. Let's turn this side. Okay, what I like about the pants is it allows you to be a little bit more mobile. Sometimes if I don't like things, I can push them away and still have a grip, right? With the ankle, sometimes if you zone out, the guy can turn his foot in and kick out like that. So the pants sometimes can be really useful, right? So I'm here like this. It's also a little bit easier to come up on my elbow to move around and do things like this. So I do like the pants a lot, but that being said, a lot of times I will, like, depending on what I do, I'll switch back to the ankle and grab kind of low, pick his hip out. Sometimes I can dip him out this way, turn it into sit-up guard, like that. If I'm consistently the smaller fighter in my gym, do you think there are positions that are more advantageous for me than others, or should I just focus on perfecting techniques? Aaron Wasama. I would say there's definitely positions that are, I think, scale better versus stronger, bigger opponents, if that makes sense. I think you should try to learn everything. For example, like a lot of people would have thought like the sit-up guard before, like single leg guard, kind of like Lucas Lepre plays it a lot, who I train with a lot. A lot of people would kind of think of that position to be not really great versus big guys, but then like Lucas swept Kine and Duarte with it, right? So I think that the are you giving the link out? Okay, my brother's giving the link out. Okay, that's okay. So that's gonna trip me out.
I know, I'm turning it down. Okay.
So but as far as guards that I think scale well in the beginning versus heavier people, I really do think like double sleeve and lassos is great, right? That's like, I don't have cauliflower ears, right? And I think it's largely because early in my career, I kind of attached to those positions because I was always like a smaller person in the gym. A lot of the guys in my gym were really big, and it was really easy to kind of contain people or keep their weight off me by controlling with double sleeve and stuff. So I think investing in learning those positions, even if you don't attack from there, they work so well just to keep big people off you in transition, but they are a bit tricky to learn in the beginning. But I still think even today, you saw Worlds this year, there was a lot of double sleeve being played. It's a very powerful position. I also think that other positions that can be really good for stifling someone, definitely like worm guard stuff can be very good for stifling. It's not my favorite because I like to be like, if you compare like Mergali's guard and like Keenan's guard, like Keenan's super effective. And I think the lapel systems can be really good for entangling people, and they're really good for attacking too. But I like to be very fast paced in my action and my attacking. And I find that with some of more of the classical open guard positions, I feel like you can be a little bit faster paced. But if you're looking for someone like, man, I just need to slow down and catch my breath for a moment and control, some of the lapel systems can be rather, if you can get there, can be rather easy to control and entangle in and scale well versus big people. But I would say generally like Lasso, Spider, and a good knee shield system as well can be very good. Why do you live in Norway? I think it's Norway. Instead of having a gym in the US, it sounds, it's moving so quick. We're up to 84 people live. This is cool. Where was the Norway? Okay, why do you, okay, this is Stefan Third. It's like, no, yeah, I don't know, Third, yeah. Why do you live in Norway? I think it's Norway. Instead of having a gym in the US, it sounds like you have a US accent, LL. Yeah, I am a US citizen. I'm in Kentucky right now with my bro. I was traveling teaching seminars in Europe, and then I was at Alliance Atlanta at the time. And then, you know, like competing jiu-jitsu full time, it can be tricky to find the perfect situation that allows you to make enough money to train, but then also, you know, be able to train as much as you would like. And also I have a lot of my own kind of strategies and particular things that I find work good for me for training. So a lot of times training at some of the top gyms, I felt like it was too much, especially with the way my body handles with injuries and overtraining. It was too much to handle that volume of training. And I wanted to train more of my own specific way, which I like to train very similar to like Tommy and Espen do a lot of smart technical training. I like to train a lot that way. So moving to Sweden gave me a situation when I got an offer to teach at a gym full time there to kind of have enough good guys to train with, to be able to make a living with jiu-jitsu instruction and be able to kind of control my training enough in the way that I like. So I just kind of ultimately decided on it. I've been there like 4 years now, maybe. Yeah, I think almost 4 years. So I really like it there too. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden. It's like a really nice, cozy lifestyle. I love the guys at the gym, Valhalla Jiu-Jitsu. So it just kind of all worked out. So, but I do tour a bit in the US and stuff. So there's still a chance to come train. Would you maybe, let's see. Okay, not sure if you got to cover it on the Globbers Guide since it hasn't released yet, but thoughts on Matrix Guard bringing to the knee outside style. Yeah, someone asked that question. I need to look more at like what Mikey Musumeci is doing on the Matrix, because like, let's see, what thoughts on the Matrix Guard bringing the knee out to the outside style versus making Xing for baby bolo. So when I get in on the Matrix, I can show you right here because we're live. Okay. Come here. So there's a lot like turn the other way. Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to get into the Matrix. I don't view the Matrix like it's a guard. It's more of an attack, right? So like I might be here. Turn this way a little bit more. Yeah, I might be here. Like I like to get to it a lot from my cross guard game. So like I'll have a lasso or something. I go here and I see this gap open. I underhook here, right? Here I could shoot for like an omoplata or something, but here I'll often take this right leg and just swipe over here and catch the hip. From here, I like to come out here. Once I hit this position, I feel like I'm going to knock him down for sure. Turn this way a little bit. Step the right way. Yep, you're right. I don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of hard to get this right. Right. So we're here like this, right? So once I have the hip here, though, I know I'm going to be able to pull him back. Here, I can finish with the X hook. The main thing is I block this back leg as it tries to backstep like this. And I do finish a lot with like the crab ride, baby bolo style grip. Sometimes I finish here. It just depends on where I feel his weight is. So like if he's kind of more up here, I probably would like to finish with this kind of crab ride more. If his weight kind of sat down on my leg really fast here, I feel like it's hard to bring my left leg out. So I don't think there's any problem with finishing with the X hook on the single leg either. But again, I haven't seen exactly what you're referring to with Mikey. I need to look that up because maybe you're referring to something a bit different. Sorry, dude.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, let's see. Once you throw the right leg over the matrix position, is there any defense for the top person? Man, so I have a shoulder injury. I'm going to have surgery in August. That's why I haven't been able to compete for a while. It happened like last year. So really being on top right now, which is honestly my favorite thing, is guard passing. In the last like 3 to 4 months, I haven't been doing much top at all. So I've been only really developing my guard. I try to work in phases in my game around injuries because I got injured so many times in my career. I find it so useful to not stop training, but find a way to train that doesn't aggravate the injury. So trying to do much posting has been really aggravating for my shoulder. So I've been doing a lot of guard play. So as far as defending the matrix at the late stage position, like you're referring to, I wouldn't really feel comfortable talking too much about it just because I haven't worked it enough yet from the top perspective to give advice that I would like to give you guys. That's a big thing for me is like, I'm very big on like bottom line results and things working. So, oh my God, I wish you burned a fire, liar. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Truth Hurts.
Wow.
Yeah, I just saw your face. Like, what was that? I was like, what did someone say?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, well, hopefully we don't burn a fire. But yeah, I'm very big on like always testing stuff and sparring with stuff because I see a lot of stuff online where it like looks flashy, but I know the person hasn't tested it and you don't see it being used. And honestly, a lot of that stuff can be fake. So whenever I go into an area where I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable with that, I like to tell you guys and then develop it on my own before I go into it, right? So I don't lose trust in the quality of technique. How does playing top affect your shoulder? Well, I have an AC joint injury. So like really much extension right about there really hurts. A lot of times I can honestly roll with it and it doesn't bother it too much. It only takes one little small motion and it's like, it just clicks and it like hurts like hell for a couple days. So it's just kind of, just for safety purposes when I'm playing guard right now. And I just work very particular guard. There's guards I could probably work that would aggravate it. Like if I do like a, like crab ride work and I pop up my shoulder, I can't do it right now. So largely right now I've been able to develop a lot of, like guard stuff, like collar sleeve, double sleeve, cross sleeve, because I can just do like most of what I'm controlling is kind of like sleeve, like on top of it. Sure. It's so easy to answer questions.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you know, with my shoulder, because it's really hard to like extend a lot, like it's very easy for me to be doing stuff like this and he starts whatever, I don't know, you know, go here like this and then, you know, cross grip, boom. You know, a lot of this stuff I can kind of do without bugging my shoulder. So I've just been like, well, let me just work on that really deep for now. And then after the surgery and I'm healed up, I can go back to some of those positions. How do you not extend too much when playing collar and sleeve guard, doing it big? Oh, Daniel Reza. Is that from Valhalla? Can you show the modified Ezekiel Chuck McGrawley does when he attacks from the back? Daniel Reza, didn't you train at Valhalla? I think, no, maybe. Daniel, give me a response. Yes, I did. Okay, what's up, Daniel? Man, again, that's one of those ones. I haven't worked on it enough that like I would have to look at it and really break it down before I could give you an answer on that. But good to see you, bud, or good to see your name. I feel like I get leg drag when extending too much. Okay, doing it big again. You feel like you get leg drag when extending too much. From which position? Are you in De La Hiva? Playing collar and sleeve. So they're leg dragging your, let's assume it's like the classic collar sleeve, right hand cross collar, left hand sleeve. It's your right leg that is getting leg drag, right? Doing it big. I'm pushing them too far with my leg. Is your right foot on their hip or on their bicep? Let me go up. Yep. Are you cool with doing this for a while? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, no pressure. Yeah, sorry, guys, I'm gone. Okay, so turn this way. Yeah, so the right foot here, like this one, this is getting leg drag. So it's hard because I don't see video. If I could find a way in the future where you guys can just send the video in immediately, it would be so much easier to address the problems. So we're playing collar sleeve, and I think it's probably the near side because it could be the far side too. So if we're here like this leg getting leg drag seems like it would be very hard with this collar grip. Are you sometimes taking this and going across to the hip here? Because that can happen. Another common problem I see people do here is they'll just leave their foot on this hip like this, and you really cannot do that because it's easy to push down. But I'm trying to understand how you're getting leg drag here. It seems like it would be difficult if you have that collar. You were leaving it on the hip. I'm pushing them too far with my leg. Yes. Now, okay, both my legs are on the hip when I try omoplata. Okay, so you have both feet on the hips. Okay, yeah, okay, well that's why it's happening. Come here. Yeah. So basically, you're doing this, right? Is this what you're doing it big? Is that what you're doing with both legs? Thank you, Giovito. Yes, okay, don't do that. But no, so look here. If this left leg, basically my end goal is I want to get kind of shallow here. You see, suck your elbow tight. See, it's really hard for him to get tight on an omoplata. Let's go around this way. Okay, it's really like I'm just letting go so you can see this. If my leg is outside here and his elbow's tight, there's no omoplata or triangle. Okay, so I want to get on the inside here, right? Just to exaggerate, I wouldn't do this, and I know someone would ankle lock me because I know that someone's going to say that next. Okay, I wouldn't let go of the sleeve, right? I'm just showing you when my leg is in here like this. Turn this way a little bit. So you see here, suck your elbow tight. You see how my leg stays inside that gap? So if I have this sleeve and I'm in this space here, get your elbow really tight. It doesn't. I can still kick through to take the omoplata, right? So often what I see people doing is they're like pressing the hips too much here. Like if I have my right foot, this way, movement here. Let's get back a little bit. Okay. If I have my right foot in the bicep here, which is definitely where you want it, right? Because this prevents him from passing this side. If he pushes this down, now I have to worry, right? If I lose this foot, push it down, I have to lasso immediately to defend, right? Okay, so you can't really play collar sleeve without playing a lasso. Like you have to. It's going to come up all the time. Okay, so if I'm here, sometimes turn this way a little bit. When his elbow is on his knee like this, like I can't get to that omoplata triangle, but sometimes there's a little gap and you can sneak your heel on the hip. It's not always there, but sometimes. Then I'll push the hip out. I keep the right foot in the bicep, but I push the hip out and I use that to get my knee on the inside. Once I'm here, now I'll take it off the hip because to actually lift, I have to come off the hip. So I stay shallow here and I keep your elbow tight. See, and now I'll kick through and I can take the omoplata. If he's not holding the pant leg, turn this way. If he's not holding the pant leg with his hand, a lot of times I can shoot up to the triangle. And if he's really strong and postures really hard, if you have a strong enough grip, you can follow it to the ceiling like this. But if not, go ahead and posture up again. I can usually just dip this under and switch to like X guard positions. Or again, if he postures up really hard like this, I can let go of this here, right? And you can start swinging around and going for the matrix there as well. Black win, okay. Yes, you are so helpful, LOL. Thank you so much. I watch your videos on YouTube all the time because they're very informative. Thank you so much. No problem doing it big. Thank you. How to pass lasso spider effectively. You've made everyone at my gym so good at it after the seminar in Vasteros. Oh, what's up, Jesper? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for letting me stay at your place. Hard to loop my arms. So now I need to know how to pass it. Okay. So looping out of the, okay, you made everyone at my gym so good at it. Okay. Okay, so I did a lasso spider guard at your gym, and it's really hard to get everyone's lasso spider, so we're gonna learn to kill it. Okay, so I'll show you a quick tip for making it easier to get out of the lasso. So get down. Okay, so when they have this lasso, one of the big things people do wrong, turn this way just a tad. Okay, freeze here, is that people will try to loop their hand first, like this. See it? And what that does is it'll often open up this elbow knee gap a lot, right? And that if they have collar sleeve, it can be really dangerous there because they can omoplata you. Yeah, exactly. So what I do is you just take this left hand and I try to jam this straight because it props his hip to the floor. It makes it harder on him. Even if my arm is bent, I just try because it makes his movement different. So hold there. Okay, and like, see, I just, even if you kind of push, it doesn't matter. Like it just makes his hip movement weird. And it gives me like a counterbalance to push on. And what I want to focus on with my right elbow is ripping it to my hip like you're starting a lawnmower, right? Because to loop out, you got to get the hand out first. You see his hand turn this way? Okay. You see where his hand is? If his fist is behind, it's so hard to move your head that way. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You see if his hand is behind his thigh like that, it's hard to loop, right? So the more I get this out, the easier this is to turn my hand and start looping, right? Then I can turn, walk my hand out and break, and then you just throw, right? If you break it, go back to the last one again. This is really weird watching myself real time while I've never done this. Okay, so if I'm here and I walk my hand up and I break and I continue to hold, he can now grab my sleeve like this, and then I've relocked myself in spider guard, right? So when I loop out here, as soon as he releases it, going back to last one, yeah. As soon as I'm here and I feel him release, throw, okay? If I'm here I've looped out, and then he kicks out to reset, which happens often. You're like, oh yeah. I throw, and then I go there, right? But you should know it's coming, so it's easier to time. Did that address some of your questions, Jesper? I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong because my Swedish is shit. Favorite single leg X options when partner is one knee, and favorite when being stacked inside De La Riva X. Okay, that's kind of broad. Favorite single leg options when partner is on one knee. So you're saying they're on one knee and you're already in single leg X, or how to get to single leg X when they're on like one knee combat base? No problem, Jesper. And I'm talking to Foul Fortune. Oh, Foul Fortune is gone. I don't know. Foul Fortune is gone. Okay, Rob Craig. Hey, John, do you decide you've practiced one concept enough before moving on to the next? Obviously, if I'm a blue belt, there's still room to improve on the original concept guard goal. Yeah, that's a great question, which is just basically, like I'm going to rephrase your question, but I think this is what you're asking. And if not, hopefully people get something out of it anyway. The question was, how long should you stay on one thing, right? And realistically, that's like kind of, I would say just try to get to a reasonable competency level, but like you could go as deep as you want, right? Like you could do specific training with close guard, and you could do that for like 10 years, right? And make your obsession is just, okay, I start in close guard. If they open it, I failed, right? And then that's all you do. You never do anything other than like sparring from close guard, right? So you could spend like 10 years on that and get like super, super good at it. But then then your ability to get out of mount is terrible, right? So try to like, look at how you're performing overall in the gym and understand that there is a point of like diminishing returns with the positions that you're working on, right? Because you may work on a position for, a long enough time, and it's giving people the gym a hard time. And I've had times where like there's a position I'm like killing anyone I roll with, but then like there's like a purple belt in my gym, because he trains with me every single day, he learns the exact little nuances of that position. And then we get into this back and forth teeter totter, becoming overly obsessed with this position because we both go back and forth at it. That we end up spending so much time that I don't work on something that I should work on. Like maybe, man, I really need to work on getting good at getting out of the squid guard right now, because I'm really good at passing worm, but my squid guard passes aren't really there, right? But then I get so over caught up in something. So you need to kind of manage like when is good enough for now, right? So I would say there's certain positions that are more important. Like you need to know how to get out of close guard. You need to know how to get out of like a lasso and De La Riva. You could probably get away with like not like on some guards, like trying to avoid it. Like 50-50, you definitely need to know, but like you could probably get away for a while just trying to avoid it. But like, try to balance out your positions, right? So exercise self-control. If you feel like you're decent at something and it's working good, try to, once you got some competency level, then move on to a new one, right? But for sure, don't just spend like countless hours on one. Yeah, we've been going 47 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. The knee cut question, I wouldn't mind hearing your...
What is the knee cut question?
It's this guy.
Who?
Doing
it big. All right, he's get two questions this time. I know she's really good with the knee cut. Sometimes I find myself getting the cross collar grip when passing, and sometimes I get the cross choke from the knee cut. Is that a question?
This is a question. My bad. I just saw knee cut. I like knee cut. I like knee cut. I didn't
My
read
brother
the
likes
rest of
knee
the
cuts.
question. Yeah.
Okay. I like doing the cross collar choke from the knee cut as well. It just kind of depends on the position. But it is a very powerful one to go for. How did you get a sponsorship from Vital? Actually, it's really cool. They're a great company. They just watched the channel a lot, and they just reached out to me and messaged me, and said they really like the particular analytical style of jiu-jitsu I go with, and they just have like a good message of analytical training, smart training, and like kind of drug-free. And because of that, we kind of talked, and we just really liked the way we worked out, and so we just kind of came together. So really great guys. I like them a lot. They've helped a lot with the channel. Are there any collar drag details you found to be particularly important? Okay, sloth guard. Okay, let's look at the collar drag. One detail that helped me a ton.
Standing or on
Yeah,
raised?
stand up. Yeah. Okay, one detail that helped me a ton. There's a lot of different like things you can do. There's a lot of different variations too. Yeah, I won't slam you into the carpet. Yeah. So when I'm here, is one thing is if you try to stay too stationary for too long, like just sitting here like this, he can just grab your wrist and break the grip, right? Either that way or just grab the wrist and pop it really fast like this, right? He can do that, right? So one thing, and then we could talk about like a setup to getting a deeper grip that can be harder to break. But one thing is when I do get the grip is I try to always be backing up, right? Because if I'm stationary, like, grab my wrist, is he can kind of plant his position and then push and break there and he can get a break, right? But as soon as we're here and I back up just a tad, don't walk forward, but I want you to feel this. You feel the tension here, right? Like it's already starting to pull him forward off balance. If he starts to try to grab the break here, start grabbing the break. You see how it's like you're way out of position. You can't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can feel myself going.
Right.
I have to step.
Yeah. It's like a deadlift, right? If you have weight to deadlift, like you can be here like this, right? And then you can lift here. If you slid the weight forward, it's like it's using all your like mid back. It just doesn't work, right? So by what I'm doing is when I'm here, I'm kind of like, I always kind of move like this and keep that distance. And then if I'm at a distance and he starts to try to like touch the wrist there, I'm gonna have so much momentum from this distance to pop and hit that really hard, right? So that one will help a lot. So just trying to always kind of back up and manage your distance. And then as far as the finish goes, man, I vary on it. Like sometimes you can try to clip the ankle. Sometimes you can shoot it in between to just go for a single leg. Another one I like is like, I'm not gonna do it here, but like you can blast this knee out really hard. Thanks, right? Because you can like hit this so hard that like almost they go up. Like actually what happens, go ahead and post your hand, is like, stand up. Yep. It's hard to do it in slow motion. But like you can get like lift with this like that, right? So I've hit people so hard that I almost overhead sweep them because I get so much lift with that. It's like go up. It's like if you've ever been in like De La Kiva and you've done this one where you kick the leg out and rip and it makes them post. Like you can kind of do that without having the left hand on the ankle go up. So like I'm here and I kind of just like without having that ankle lunge into that and hit it, and you can keep the force going enough to lift them, right? So there's a lot of different variations on the finish. Okay, let's see here. John Thomas. Oh man, how did you get my Raymond red? How do you defend? That's a good way to get your question answered. How do you defend the one arm throw by when you have lasso, spider, double sleeve? Okay, I answered that early, but because you put my name in red, we're going to answer it again. Okay. Okay. So the lasso, throw by, and spider. What I would say, it's hard to say. Like, there's a couple reasons it could be happening. Okay, there's a couple reasons it could be happening. One of the biggest ones I see. It's also good that I have my brother here because he's taller than me, so it kind of puts in perspective. If people are like, "But what if you're not tall?" Because he's like 3 or 4 inches taller than me, so it works out good. Okay, so back up a little bit. Okay, yeah, I think it's probably good. Okay, so we're here, right? So one of the main things people do is like when they're playing lasso spider is I see people leave this leg out all the time, and it's taught that way a lot. I see people teach spider guard, hold both hands, like where they're taught to kind of come out here and break out this way. You see with this spider hook and this leg out, man, this is a 100% get thrown. You're just setting yourself up, right? So when I'm in spider, I have lasso spider like this, and I'm not gonna if I let go of this lasso, if I let go of this lasso, just lazy, he can throw me. So if I'm taking this lasso off, I only do it if I have a clear objective. Like if I know his elbow and knee is super tight and he's holding my lapel, his balance is down a little bit, he can't throw as well, then I can put this hook in. If I have this hook in and he tries to throw, this hook will kind of keep me centered and he can't. Okay, so I'm safe, right? So I know that's safe. If his leg is straight as a board, right, then I know, okay, I can't, I know that putting that hook in is going to be weak. So if I unlasso, I'm fast with this spider hook. So if I'm here and he throws as I do this throw, I'll usually catch this foot on the bicep in time. Now I'm centered, and then I can kick and start working underneath and start doing overhead sweeps here, right? So making sure you don't leave that leg out and staying tight is another big one. Can you do an arm bar and say Gronadang? I don't know what that means. Please, I don't know what Gronadang means. I don't want to get set up for some sort of internet meme here. Oh man, everyone's using the red the red thing now.
I knew that was coming.
Oh man, you guys are
Red's
evolving.
not the color anymore.
Yeah, we need a different color. Let's go with a different color. Let's go with yellow. Next yellow John Thomas question that's not trolling will be answered. How do you view inversion as guard retention technique? Is it a last resort? Oh, great. That I gotta. Kevin Nadiri. What's up, Kevin? I miss you, buddy. Now everyone is going to use it. Let's see here. Man, how was class this morning, Kevin? Were you there? There's one of my students in here. Let's see here. When you're, what was the? I'm going on a side trend. How do you view inversion as a guard retention technique? Okay, great. Yeah. So, man, like you said, I view it as like kind of oh shit mode. I really prefer to not have to invert if possible. Like I have a bad back. I was out for like a year and a half from a back injury back in like 2011, 12. Did someone say something crazy?
No, I'm just reading.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a bad back injury. It's awesome, dude. We just need you back. Yeah, I had a bad back injury like 2012, I think. So I was out for like a year and a half. So I really try to avoid anything that puts a lot of pressure on my low back. So what I try to focus on is always keeping my hips on the floor and avoid inverting. So the most common inversion that people think of is probably this one. At our old gym, we used to call it the flamethrower. I have no idea why. So enough flamethrower. Chris Moriarty called it that. And basically what it looked like was, let's go on this side. So just somehow the guy started to pass me this way. So I got kind of in trouble. Maybe you have this elbow knee space still there, but you're kind of like, you can't turn back in, right? So what I always suggest is a forward strip motion like this, right? But the idea is when he's here, what you do is you roll this way, you come up on your neck and you kind of go this way. Now, I don't know if that's what you meant by inversion, but commonly people do that move a lot. I really do not like doing that just because you get stacked often, right? Even if you're a super flexible person, what happens is no matter how flexible I am, so if I go here like this and I get stacked, just put your knees behind my back, right? If I'm here like this, right, I can't get my legs back down. Like I'm fully stacked here. There's no way to get back from this easily, right? So go back. Right. If I have my hips down, as long as you develop flexibility and the guy's like pushing here, start pushing my heels up or something like this. Yeah, I can drop my hip and try to move my feet and do stuff. So I'm always trying to use proper leg movement and stuff like that to try to avoid having to do that kind of stuff. As far as like inverting, like if they trap my leg, like I've seen some people go, okay, if this leg gets trapped, like I usually try to use this lasso foot in some manner on the shoulder, on the hip, shin to shin, like somewhere to get this back out. Some people have showed to get this out, you hook here and invert, and then you pull it out that way. Again, I just feel like anytime you're inverting, especially modern day, guys can die for crab rides and bolos on you. And I feel like that's really dangerous too. Okay, so that's like, yeah. So I would say avoid it if you can, for sure. What do you do when they post up in spider lasso and how to prevent it? Man, I answered posture up. I'll answer it again real quick. I know it's a mega one. I'll just show it real fast. What are you doing? Just dealing with the posture and the spider lasso. Okay, so we're here like this, right? So the guy deadlifts. I let my upper back come up off the floor like this, right? That alleviates the pressure. Then I try to loop my foot inside, the left one, and then I start trying to work under. Okay, but make sure you let your upper back come up. Here, one second. I'm going to post on Instagram that I'm live so people know. And I will take a question in a second. Joe, answer questions.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Such a stock response. Such a cool post. Fire emoji.
All right. Sorry, guys. Okay. I need the knee shield tips, boss. Okay. Passing knee shield or playing it? What do you do if you're in reverse illegal like that and they leg drag your leg, you're trying to lasso them, pressure pass? Please. I need this one. LO. Okay. Mr. Dirty Diaper, because of the fact Okay, I don't want to forget the other person. I need knee shield tips. Playing knee shield. Okay, so we're going to answer the reverse de la Riva question, then the knee shield question, and then okay. So Mr. Dirty Diaper had the reverse de la Riva question, which is, what do you do if you're in reverse de la Riva like that, and they leg drag your leg that you're trying to lasso, then pressure pass you, please? Okay, so come up. So it depends. Like a lot of these kind of questions can be a bit tricky because there's a lot of context, right? Like if I watched Bernardo Faria play guard and someone's like, what's he doing wrong? I can't really necessarily say that because it depends on what you want to do. Like I might tell someone to lasso, but if you want to play deep half guard, that's not a wrong choice. It's just a different choice. So it's hard to always have context. So we're in reverse de la Riva here, right? So a lot of times if I don't want to get stuck in reverse, like in this kind of a position, when someone enters the pass, I don't even put the reverse de la Riva hook in, right? If he tried to trap my leg to come in, I just keep my knee tight. You see come in like this? See, and I have my knee tight and I keep it really tight here. Sometimes the act of chasing this hook opens you up a bit more. So if I'm like this here and I frame his biceps, I put this left foot over on the shoulder. Let's turn this way just a tad. Perfect. Yep. We're here, right? I'll throw this left foot over on the shoulder here and I can push a little and bring this right leg out, right? And that gets me out back into open guard, again, if I like to play that. If I'm here like this, right? Okay, and we're here and this thing is getting leg dragged this way, it's hard. I would really have to see what you're doing. I think the big thing is, is when I'm in reverse de la Riva, I always control this collar, right? I don't like to have this sleeve or anything because if I have a tight grip on this, it's going to be really hard for him to yank this across, right? So I would be here like this, and I'm usually looking to go here. And what I want to do is try to get his foot in the air. Like turn this way just a tad.
This way?
Yep. Yeah. What I try to do here is I try to get elevation on that, right? I can use my hand underneath like this sometimes too, but I'm just trying to lift. Once you lift, it's really easy to spin through. Okay. So I'm trying to use that hook to elevate his leg up to try to get under. Man, I'm sorry. Like with the leg drag question, it's really hard for me to imagine how you're getting leg dragged in that position. Approach to inverted guard triangles.
There was a second one you were
not the reverse. Did you say not the reverse de la Riva like you lasso? You're saying the lasso, the left leg that you threw over was getting leg drag, right? Hey man, can you, if you, Mr. Dirty Diaper 1, if you follow me on Instagram, DM me a video clip of you doing that and I will answer it. Okay, just tell me that you're Mr. Dirty Diaper 1 and I will respond, okay? Because it's hard for me to imagine exactly what you're saying. Okay, there was one other question, the knee shield, right? It was how to play it. Let me see the exact question. Okay, I'm just gonna give you my perspective on the knee shield, right? So I used to be very like kind of against the knee shield and I still am on some level. I actually think it's really good now, but it depends on where you're coming from with it. So, okay, so this way, right? So a lot of people knee shield because they don't know how to properly get their right leg free, right? So what I often recommend to people stand up is like if I'm playing open guard, like I'm on my back or whatever, I like to not have this trap because then the guy can get heavy on me with his knee somehow, right? And start initiating knee cut passes. So the way I often will deal with it is I keep this right knee tight. So as he comes in, I would be looping this left foot, getting this out, trying to establish a de la Riva game or a spider lasso game or a collar sleeve game and stuff like that. And a lot of people knee shield because they don't know how to get this out. So the guy comes in for a knee cut, they don't know what to do. So then they start like knee shielding with this, right? And then they can't, it's hard to get this back out in that sense sometimes, right? So for that reason, sometimes I tell people to learn to kind of lasso and get your hip out first, because then you can learn to play close guard and stuff. That being said, go back up. Sometimes modern day, just to mix my game up, I do like to actually play it because I use it to set up the far side collar sleeve, right? So as they come in like this, I try here to catch this, right? And just lock in here. And what I'm looking is to just control the distance with this left collar here. I'll push. I like to have this kind of arm on the inside of my knee so it's harder to smash over. But honestly, I feel pretty okay here too most of the time, like this. And then what I usually look to do, again, because I like to go to open guard positions, is if I can get this sleeve, which if you just bump the guy, post, whatever, I get this sleeve, I push with my knee and get some distance, even if I have to let go of the collar, and I bring this foot back out. Once I get this foot out and I have this sleeve, it's really hard for him to push that back down. So you can't push it down, right?
No, I can't.
I go palm up, he can't grab anything. And from here, it's actually a really difficult position for him to pass. And you can use this to set up a lot of stuff. I can push go back to a spider position, start sweeping that way. I could turn it into a triangle on this side. Right, come back in. Right here, I can knee shield like this. I can come up into this like Lucas Lech position here, drop this and bump with the knee, come around the back door, right? So I'll use the knee shield position. And a lot of times what I do is because I have like I'm very comfortable with my knee cut pass. I feel like I can threaten anyone with it. I understand what it takes to make a good knee cut. So if I'm here and he initiates a knee cut well, and he enters into that like deep space here, now it's hard to knee shield, right? Go back up. So that's where I don't like, okay, he already knee cut you. Now you're knee shielding. That's kind of like defensive. But if I'm playing open guard, for example, just give me Lasso, I could be like this. And if I initiate the knee shield position like this, come in like down. Yeah. And I initiate here, I feel like I have more control rather than like him initiating the cut. And so here I might be playing like this. And then from here, I'm doing stuff like a control here. I get this and I bring this guy out. You can also push and get this guy sometimes if he drives his weight back into your knee. And then you can bump up this way and switch over to X guard. You can also turn that into matrix. Depends on their response. Okay. Is there any way you guys do this in Speedos? Summer is here. Sorry, bro. Unfortunately, not this time. Maybe if we're on the beach. Favorite ways to get back finish from back. Get the back finish from the back. We're gonna do other questions just because I feel like my finishes from the back, like I feel very comfortable with it, but I don't feel like I have anything that's like super knockout. I guess one thing I could show you, like somebody take the back, is that I think a lot of people go to the bow and arrow too soon. I train with Alec Balding a lot. He's got a killer choke from the back. Is I think taking your time in this like classic lapel one here is really good, and then focusing. Turn this way. Yep. What I always focus on here is like if we're up on this side is I keep these grips rather than switching for that bow and arrow. And I just focus on getting up on this elbow here, my right elbow. Once I get this elbow, even if I lose this bottom hook, start scooting your hip out, it doesn't matter much. I just keep my shoulder kind of dipped behind his head and I just turn my wrist in here and you get a tight choke. And I'll even stay here. Even if it takes a little longer, I always like to get hurt. Yeah, I'm like, choke you unconscious on live feed. I like to stay here more, right? Because like a lot of times when you lose this, guys have that ability to slip their head under, right? So I like to stay on that one there, right? All right, guys, I think I need to go probably in like 5 minutes or so. So let's do like 2 more questions and then we'll bounce. And then any feedback, over under pass defense concepts or any tips. Okay, I had that question 2 or 3 times. Okay, so over under, the thing there's different layers of defense, go up. But the thing I like to focus on a lot, if we come into the over under, is keeping this knee close to me. So go down. Okay. So the big thing I focus on is like, and I fought a lot of really good over under passers. Like I train with Leo Noguera a ton. I fought Leo Seguro a couple times, and he's one of the top kind of experts on the over under position. So this has always worked well for me. It's just making sure you really prevent this knee from getting deep. Like if the guy gets here and he has you all the way here, this is really bad. Often that happens because you got lazy with this leg initially. So what I'm focusing on is as I'm coming in, if your knees are tight like this, and I get in here, what I need to do is get over to this. So if you double frame my bicep with your both hands like this, even if I'm here, this is hard. Turn this way. Yeah. This is really hard to get around, right? So I'll use this and press really hard. And once I get enough distance, I'll try to throw this left foot over on the bicep here or over on this side. Okay. It's hard because he doesn't know the over under super well, so yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it. But another really easy one you can do, especially if it gets worse. That's perfect. Yeah. Even if it gets worse by like this, is I double block here. This is where I would push until I can get this knee back, right? And I got to be careful about him not coming across to get this cross grip. So as I do this, I'm usually keeping this left leg really extended out so he can't cross grip until I could get there and loop back in front, right? But let's say he's a little bit more through like this. Just hold tight on the hamstring or something. Yeah, like this, right? Another one I really like is a double frame here for the time being. I'm going to take this left hand, come over to his armpit. I take my left leg, extend it out, and I bring my knee right back behind his head here, and that pushes his head right into the floor. Sorry, I did that to someone on hardwood before. Okay, so now I grab the belt, elbow down, sit up, hug the leg, and then drive over there. That's a really good one too. Lucas Lepre showed me that a long time ago, and it's like, I remember we started doing specific training at the gym at that time from the over-under. And I was really rolling with one of the black belts from Brazil, and he was giving my guard, this was like a purple belt or a brown belt, he was giving my guard a really hard time. And then we started doing specific sparring with that counter to the over-under. And he was good at the over-under, and I kept sweeping him with it. And then it was hard to normally sweep him. So it actually got one point in the match when I first learned that, where I was fighting the guy, trying to force him to over-under on me. Like I was literally lunging into the over-under position, chasing him with that defense. It's like extremely powerful. But again, I learned that one from Lucas Apria. Is a really good one. Okay. All right, let's do no problem. Let's do 2 De La Riva X sweep combos, and then we're going to call it. And then let me know if you guys have any other, this is my first time doing a live feed. I literally just like have a new computer. So I was like, let's do it and see what happens. Trouble finishing foot look or sitting back for it. Man, I want to answer everyone's questions. Okay, I've been here an hour and 10. Okay, so let's just do the De La Riva one. Man, I can't read it anymore. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to feel guilty for not answering questions. Okay, let's do the favorite De La Riva X combos. Go up real quick. So however you get there, just stay on this side. Yeah, however you get there. Right, sure. Yep. However you get there. Okay, we'll just use the De La Riva one we hit here. One of my favorite ones, if I have this sleeve when I get there, starting from De La Riva, right, is I just lift and I lace here. Is when I have this sleeve, what I do is lean this way and I pull the sleeve this way. That's often going to make him want to post that hand, and I'm going to swipe it out right before he hits. Right? Did you know that was coming?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just started drilling it.
Okay, so I go here, boom, hit here. As they start to go this way, you just clip it out right when he hits, right? You're like, oh. Okay. Of course, you can always go forward and backwards. One of my other really favorite ones, let's go this side here. I think I just posted this on Instagram if you follow me there as well. But so go to put that knee on the floor. This one. Yeah, it's like often you'll get into this position when you're trying to sweep them back and forth because it's just more balanced when they're down. I take this left hand, I go super deep on the single leg and grab really high on his collar. Right here, it's like I'll usually just bump a little or something and then I step out. You see if he posts that hand on the floor like that because I bumped, you go back up. Yeah. So I get here and I just do this. See, when he posts, my hand comes out and I step out. Now here, stand up. You're going to stand all the way. Yeah. See, it's just so hard for him here. You don't even have to be good at the single leg, right? Yeah. Just run into the computer. Okay, ankle lock question, and then we're going to close it. So when we're here,
It's a little wonky, so just don't.
Okay, we'll be sure to break your heart. Sorry. Yeah, the big thing I try to focus on. You sit here, and we'll see if we can get the. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So you see the foot here, right? Turn your toes inward. What I don't want is this happening, right? So go back. So what I try to focus on is getting this foot trapped along my rib cage. You see what I mean? Here, like even though I don't have the ankle lock grip, turn your toes inward. You see, it's like my ribs are like a frame on the foot wall. Okay, so I don't even go super high or any of that. I just try to slide back and I grab pretty low on my lapel right there, and I just pinch this in tight. Right? And when I'm here, like, and I like to use this left foot. Let's turn this way. Okay. I like to use this left foot underneath. I'm just showing you just starting from here so you understand the mechanics because there's so many different ways to get to the position. Right? So I start here and I choke in like this, right? And I keep that super tight, right? Grab low on the lapel. I like to use this right hand here to help control distance. Okay, when I'm ready to finish, this right foot can come up on the hip. Right here, if I lean back right there, I'm gonna get the tight finish, right? Like that. And then also when I rotate over, I'm gonna be really loose here.
Yep.
I can roll this way. Let's go over this way. So I want them to get the finish foot position. No. This way. This is so hard. Okay.
I'm gonna lose a leg today.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you can see here, sorry if I'm not in the perfect position. You see where his foot is? You see how that, like his foot is bending? It's more of like a toe hold action, right? What I'm actually doing is I'm folding his foot like this there, right? It's not like you're attacking the Achilles tendon and like trying to cut through this or something. I'm grabbing his foot and folding it off, right? So it's more of like a toe hold kind of pressure. So what I would recommend you do is to cut in deep on that thing on your rib cage and try to lock it in. Shoot this really far across and then clamp that really tight to lock it in position. You think about it more like a foot lock than an ankle lock, right? And that allows you to kind of lock into position.
Don't read.
What is it?
No, I'm just saying don't read. You'll keep it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, guys. So what's your Instagram?
It is the magic one or the
The jiu-jitsu one.
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu one is functional strength with a K, so it's like funky.
Okay.
Functional strength.
Functional strength with a K is my brother on Instagram. I'll tag him in a post or something. So he trains in Burbank, California, Alberto Cranes. So follow him, check him out. He posts stuff too. Also, guys, what is the magic one? Oh, what's the magic one? Or do you feel comfortable doing magic?
Yeah, I'd have to go grab some coins.
Go grab some coins.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, hang on.
Something I could show them since I'm in a gi.
We're gonna do a little magic. Okay. Jackson Rounds loves magic. All right, guys, conceptual questions while we wait. This is super fun. Okay. Bro, your videos have helped me so much. Thanks, dude. All right, guys, no conceptual questions. We're waiting on my brother to do magic. Do you have a good answer to somebody defending the Kimura lock from side control? What is your favorite Cobra Kai? Favorite Cobra Kai member or favorite Cobra Kai episode? Best way to what are you drinking? Coffee, just black coffee. I prefer espresso, but I'm at my parents' house and I can't be all like uppity about it. But yeah. So what was it? There was a Cobra Kai question, and there was actually like a pretty good conceptual question. What are you drinking? Simple versus complex games. Do you write down your systems? When do you get a sweep into open guard? BJJ and Magic subbed. Thanks, Jackson. Is there? Oh man, there was one more. Best way to teach a white belt. Best way to teach a white belt. I would say again, just almost every time someone asks me like a concept question, I sound like a broken record. I'm just like positions. But yeah, the reality is just spend time in positions. Like if you think of a white belt, their first day of class, they come in. And they start in they learn here's an armbar from closed guard, here's a triangle choke, right? And then they start sparring, and then they start either standing, which is like insane because they don't know how to do a takedown. Probably it's like just go at it, and then they're just like it doesn't make any sense. So like realistically, even if you show someone a triangle choke, but then you don't really show them super easily how to get to it, it's hard. So I actually like to start in the triangle choke with the guy, the white belt, and I'll just go, okay, start in the triangle. Here's how it functions. Try to finish it now. Then the guy starts resisting, and then we start dealing with counters for how the guy can resist until he becomes competent in finishing a triangle choke. Once he's pretty competent in finishing a triangle choke, then we'll go back to like close guard, start with an overhook, and then develop how to finish from the overhook. Then we start working on how do you get to the overhook, and you just isolate each thing like that. Okay, does that make sense? And then you just slowly just branch out. Just all jiu-jitsu is just lots of positions. Okay, magic show time. All right, where do you want the camera, Joe? I promise there's no camera tricks.
Yeah. Also, I'm wearing a gi, so
he's wearing a gi too, so there's no pockets.
Tilt this way a little bit.
Some of the show you rolls have an inside pocket though. So.
Actually, oh no, my storms have an inside pocket, but not this one.
Okay, guys.
Dude, I should invent a gi for magic.
Yeah, we need magic gis. Okay, guys, magic show.
So you're not gonna be able to see my face, but I'm just gonna do this so you can
watch his hands.
You can see the money. So just watch the hands. So my dad collected coins, and I just got these are silver dollars. I don't know if you guys can see these, but they're old from the 20s, 1922. They're Liberty silver dollars. So there's 4 of them. I'll try and hold those close to the camera so you can see what's going on. And I'll put these right here. Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit so I can get better lighting. All right. How about, I think that should work. Okay. So I'll pull the sleeves up and a gi. Make sure you guys don't think I'm using these wizard sleeves. Okay, so 4 coins, 2 empty hands. The idea is simple. They're going to move. So the idea is I'm going to try and make, without dragging them like this, I'm going to try and make a move from one side to the other. Okay, so watch. 4 coins. You guys should see that okay. All right, so watch. I'll cover the coins just like this and give them a rub. One of those coins will melt away from the left side and jump to the right side. All right, I'll do it again. So that's 3 on this side, which is, I guess, your left or right. I'm not sure which. 1 on this side. Watch the next one. Just a little rub is all it takes. And the next one goes from one side to the other. Right? That's 2 and 2. Now, because I'm playing with the money, I don't want you guys to think I'm throwing them or something like that. So I want you to see what that would look like. Watch 2 and 2. Very slowly, very fairly, 2 and 2. You'll see the moment I throw one, right? Now, I'm not going to actually do that. I'm going to leave it at 2 and 2 still, right? Now, this time super fair. Last time. Actually, we'll do one more. So 2 and 2. Watch. Just a little rub. Actually, I'll put a little bit more space between. So watch 2 and 2. A little rub, and it becomes 1 and 3. And then, John, if you want to put your hand in on this one.
Okay. Where do I put my hand?
I'm going to do it in your hand. Okay. So like that. Yeah, so they can see. All right. So watch 1, 2, 3, 4 coins, 2 empty hands. After I take the top one, he's going to close his hand. All right. So watch. Square them up. Close your hand. Turn over. Watch from here to there. 1, 2, 3. Check it out. I won't go near it. How many you got? All
got
4.
4
It's
coins.
hard to see, so I'll just 1.
Sorry, guys.
2, 3, 4 coins. There you go. Magic.
Nice. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning into the live stream. It was super fun. I'll try to start doing these more often. All right, guys. Also follow me on Instagram if you don't already, at John Thomas BJJ. It's easier to like DM me on stuff. And I do stories every day with like updates of the technique. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Now I got to figure out how to, oh, there's a big end stream button. See ya.
See ya.